Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the power of the mind. The power of the mind. The mind is a very, very, very powerful entity. Okay, when we talk about the mind. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the power of the mind. And when we talk about the power of the mind, we're not just specifically speaking about the brain and the actual cognitive functions. We're talking about the emotions that are generated within our being, and that has to do with, physical and emotional, psychological, intellectual, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Our mind's ability to work with the rest of our being, either for good or for evil, is extremely powerful and difficult to explain. So I want to talk about how the mind can work for us and be our strongest ally. And I want to compare and contrast that to how the mind can actually work against us and be our most powerful adversary. You know what I'm talking about. And, I've been talking to you every day, and I'm going to talk to you about it again. Today, I talked to you about Autobiography in 5 short chapters. And why do I read the same thing every single day? Why do I read the same thing every single day? You may be wondering. I read the same thing every single day because I truly believe that awareness and the ability to make change and the desire to make change is the single most critical decision in how well or how poorly we breathe, and how well and how poorly we live our lives, and how happy we are or how unhappy we are or how miserable we are. Okay? And so, Autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia Nelson is something that is the best metaphor for being completely blind to how your behavior impacts you, to not only being aware of it, but being able to train yourself to the point that it no longer has control over you. So I'm going to read it again, as I may read it every single day. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk, and I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes me forever to find a way out. Okay? So think about what we're saying. We're happily walking down the street. We fall into this giant hole. We've made a mess for ourselves. We don't know how the hell we got here. We don't know what the hell we did to get in this situation. I am helpless. Think about it. Being unaware is helpless, right? Being unaware of your behavior, being unaware of the things that make you sick or well is helplessness, right? And that is why education is such a crucial part of every single thing that I do and every single thing that we do here at Pulmonary Wellness online, as well as everything that we do at the Pulmonary Wellness and Rehabilitation Center, as well as everything that we do in the Ultimate Pulmonary Wellness Facebook group, as well as everything that I put into the book, Ultimate Pulmonary Wellness. Because without that awareness, without that knowledge, you are truly lost and helpless. And it is not much consolation to have to rely on others as your sole source of knowledge and information, and therefore I say inspiration. Okay? So I use the analogy of being shipwrecked, and there we are hanging on to a piece of wood, and we can stay where we are holding on to that piece of wood and give up all control and wait to see what happens to us. Wait to see if we bake in the sun. Wait to see if we die of thirst and dehydration. I would say wait to see if a shark eats us, but that is highly unlikely and it's unfair to sharks, okay? But the idea is so many of us do this with our health and in our everyday activities, and whereas most of us are never going to be shipwrecked, Everybody that I'm talking to you right now is in a similar situation, in a dire situation where you've been diagnosed with either heart disease, some form of cardiovascular disease, or respiratory disease, or some form of pulmonary disease, right? So why? Because it's a chronic disease that kind of moves in slower steps and is not as dramatic as a shipwreck. Do we tend to take the passive approach and say, you know what, let me just wait and see what happens, or let me rely on that person's word to direct me as to what I should and shouldn't be doing? Okay, so I walk down the street, there is a deep hole in the sidewalk, I fall in, I am lost, I am helpless, it isn't my fault, it takes me forever to find my way out. Now listen, you guys are no longer in chapter 1, right? You're not lost and you're not helpless. You've decided to join this course. You've decided to enroll in Bootcamp, which means that you're way past the point of unawareness and denial. So you're way past the point of being unaware. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I cannot believe I'm in the same place, but it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. So now, in the first one, I am lost and I'm helpless. In the second one, I pretend I don't see it. How many of us have conveniently pretended that we don't see things, right? We don't see the harm in smoking cigarettes. We don't see the harm in the soda we drink. We don't see the harm of being 50 pounds overweight, etc., 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 right? We conveniently make it so that we don't see those things. And again, you're here now. Most of us have quit smoking, okay? Most of us are looking for ways to become educated, looking for ways to take control of our destiny. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. So I know what's going on, but I still fall in. Every once in a while I'm gonna smoke one, right? Every once in a while I'm gonna have a cupcake. Every once in a while I'm gonna skip that workout. Every once in a while I'm going to XYZ or whatever it is that you're doing to sabotage your life. Okay? I know where I am. I know this is bad for me. I know this is bad for me. It is my fault because at this point it is a conscious choice. It is a decision, right? But I get out immediately. So yeah, I fell off the wagon, fell into this hole. Here I am back out of the hole and back to business, right? Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And chapter 5 is I walk down another street. So again, back to basics. Chapter 1, I'm completely unaware. I'm completely unaware of what's going on. I don't know how I got here. I'm completely helpless. Chapter 2, okay? I'm in denial. I'm pretending I don't see the hole. There's no hole there. Maybe if I just ignore it, that hole will not be there and I won't fall in. Chapter 3, I know that hole is there. I know that hole is there. Oh, damn, here I am back in the hole, right? Chapter 4, I'm back. I know that hole's there. Let me walk around the hole, right? And chapter 5 is, you know what? I'm not even going to go near that hole. I'm going down a different street because we're ready to put that bullshit aside. I'm not even going near that hole. This time I'm going down a different street because I am ready to put all that crap aside that keeps making me fall into the hole. And that is what you need to do. You need to put all that BS aside. You need to throw that crap out. You need to get rid of it. You need to excavate it. You need to exercise it. EXORCISE or ZE, right? It may be ZE. But you need to exercise too. But this time we are going to exorcise that BS that keeps making us fall into the same hole. The mind is a very, very powerful being, okay? As I said before, it can be our best friend. When it's helping us, it can be our worst enemy. So remember that cartoon where, let's see, who was it? I think it was Goofy, okay, I think it was Goofy, but I'm not 100% sure, I won't swear to this, who had an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other shoulder. And the devil was always saying to him, come on, Goofy, let's do this, let's do this. And the angel, Goofy, was saying, come on, Goofy, you can't do that. You can't do that, Goofy. Don't do it, don't do it. No, no, no. No. All right, you get my point, okay? So what we have to do in step one of anything that we're going to do is become aware, right? We need to raise our awareness, which is why every day I'm saying to you, observe, observe, take notes, right? We have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. So before you talk, before you try to explain to me why you did something or why you didn't do something or why you should have done something or you could have done something or why you couldn't do it, etc., etc., etc. Before you talk with your one mouth, I want you to look and I want you to listen twice as much as any talking that you do. And I want you to observe. I want you to observe behavior of yourself. I want you to observe actions. I want you to observe thoughts. I want you to observe feelings. And look and pay attention to the things that are looking to serve you well. And look and pay attention to the things that are looking to sabotage your health and well-being. So I will give you some examples, okay? I personally don't love to work out. Sometimes I do, sometimes I enjoy it, sometimes I tolerate it, which is actually most times I tolerate it, okay? Sometimes I hate it. Every time, okay, I am set to work out, I have an internal struggle. I used to work at 34th Street and 1st Avenue. There used to be a gym on 34th Street between Lexington Avenue and Park. I used to live on 38th between Lexington and 3rd, okay? Which means that every day I would get to 3rd Avenue and 34th Street and I would have this choice. I can make a right turn and go home, or I can go straight for one more block and I can go work out. Every single day it was a struggle. Now, I'm a physical therapist. It's not like I don't know you're supposed to work out. Of course I know it. It's what I built my whole career on, okay? But every day I had that struggle. To this day, the only way I really work out is by scheduling an appointment with a personal trainer. And even then, the only way that I really work out now is if I have a personal trainer. Okay, now that sounds crazy. People say to me, you're a physical therapist. Your specialty is exercise. You're a cardiovascular and pulmonary guru. Why do you need a personal trainer? And the reason is very simple. And the reason is extremely simple. I need somebody to babysit me and make sure that I do it. I need somebody to babysit me while I exercise. Now that's crazy, right? But the fact of the matter is that as long as I set that up, okay, and it means that there are things that I go without because it's not cheap to have a personal trainer, but it is a priority for me because I want to get in shape. So what you have to do is you have to prioritize. You have to ask yourself, what are the things that I really want to be doing, or what are the things that I really need to be doing in order to combat this COPD or this pulmonary fibrosis or this pulmonary hypertension, right? Because this is where Devil Goofy wants you not to work out. Devil Goofy doesn't want you to work out. Devil Goofy wants you to lie on the couch, flipping the remote control, eating Oreo cookies, right? But Angel Goofy wants you to go to the gym, eat more conservatively, and do the things that are going to be best for you. Who are you going to listen to, okay? To this day, I was working out. Okay, so I used to work out at 7 p.m. in my office. The problem with that is that I stopped seeing patients at 6 p.m. and that meant that I had an hour left to my own devices for a full hour in which I could think about all the things I would rather be doing than working out. I can get home and see the dogs. I can go here, I can go there, I can bail on the trainer, okay? What I did was I changed from 7 p.m. appointments to 6:30 p.m., and that's 30 minutes less that Devil Goofy has to mess with my mind, right? And that's how you have to think. You have to ask yourself, what are my problems and what is the root cause of my problems, okay? Another issue, I love to eat. I love to eat. It's that simple. I love to eat, okay? And I particularly love carbohydrates. I'm attracted to carbohydrates. Bread, pasta, cookies, cakes, donuts, etc., 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 etc. Horrible for you, okay? The root of all things evil from a nutritional perspective. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that I don't come anywhere in the vicinity of carbohydrates, meaning that I have to make sure that if I'm going to order something from a restaurant, I have to make sure I say, do not put any bread anywhere near me. Do not send me bread. Do not put bread on my table. Do not ask me if I want more bread, etc., etc., etc. Why? Because you know that once it's sitting there, guess what? Devil Goofy is saying, come on, just have one piece. Just have one piece. Now, having one piece is okay, but we know that we don't have just one piece, right? Because it's that first piece that is the gateway drug to the whole loaf. No joke, right? So if I don't have any of it and I keep it far away from me, I am good. I will not hunt it down. I will not look for it. But if I have that first piece, then guess what? There's no stopping me. Me, okay? Somebody who knows very well intellectually what I need to do and what I shouldn't be doing, okay? So now another challenge for me is that at the Pulmonary Wellness and Rehabilitation Center, people bring us food all day, every day, all day, every day. People are bringing us food. People are bringing us... Now, don't get me wrong, okay? It's not that I don't appreciate it. Of course I appreciate it. It's their way of saying thank you. It's their way of saying I appreciate what you do for me. However, the real way that they can show their appreciation is by not bringing me that food, okay? To say to me, hey, you know what? I was going to bring you 24 Dunkin' Donuts, but instead I thought about you, and I know that you're trying to get in shape, so I decided not to. My man. Okay, I got people who will stop by a bakery, an Italian bakery, a Russian bakery, and they'll bring us 24 pastries, okay? Now, my staff is all lean, okay? My staff is all lean. Those guys work hard all day, okay? My work is mostly mental. So whereas they will burn it off, or they will not even go for more than one or two, I will be thinking about it. They'll be calling me. Devil Goofy will be saying to me, hey, you know what? Don't forget, there's pastries in the back. But Devil Goofy knows that cannoli number one is a gateway drug to a whole box of cannolis, right? So what do we do about this? The point is we have to set ourselves up for success. So for example, in the case that I just told you about, I don't go in the back room. I don't go in the back room if I know there's food there. My whole staff can be sitting there, eating it, drinking, laughing, etc. If I know that there's a box of cannoli from Venero's, okay? Venero should give me money for this, even though I'm talking bad. I'm only talking bad in the sense that you know how good they are, okay? I avoid the back room, and I make sure that I do what I need to do. Now, I found a new place to get my food from, and it's a perfect salad. They give me a perfect salad. It's got all the salad stuff, which I usually don't like. It's got roast turkey in it. And I allow myself the pleasure of the Thousand Island dressing. Yeah, I allow myself the pleasure of the sweetest dressing on earth that I've been eating since I'm a kid, because I know that by eating that Thousand Island dressing with this salad and with this turkey here, okay, may prevent me from having a cannoli, and in turn may prevent me from having a dozen cannolis. You follow? But the idea is you must observe your behavior. You must ask yourself, what would Devil Goofy want me to do? And then you need to find ways to fight that concept off at all costs.